Hi there, Sandra here from Createinspain. Wanted to show you how to go about using your iPad to do a print that you can cut out with your scan and cut quite easily. Now I have my image imported into Procreate. It's a nice app to use. It's very capable of doing a lot of things, especially things that card makers might want to do, but you don't have to learn how to use all of it. So don't worry. It's also a very reasonably priced app, and there's just the one-off fee. And no, I'm not affiliated to Procreate in any shape or form, I just like using it. So I have my image, which I got from Pixabay, free images you can download to your heart's content, and I have imported it into Procreate, and I have copied it and pasted it onto a background paper that I want to use, the right size. This happens to be postcard size, so 10 by 15 centimeters basically. So this is the size that I want my image to be, and I know if I print it out this size, it's going to be correct. So the next thing I need to do is give it a cut line, because this has got fluffy bits around here, it's not got defined edges, and it's got very unfortunately sort of jagged, hairy type areas that would send any cutter demented. So I need to have an outside line. Up here is the layers tab, so I want to add a fresh layer because this preserves my drawing. Don't do anything to that. If you're really worried about doing anything to your drawing that you don't want to do, just lock it, and then you can't do anything to that layer. All right. So I'm working on this layer, which is highlighted in blue. And this is my brush library. Now in the brush library I have a monoline brush. If I tap on it, you can see I've got stabilization on at 40%, and this enables me to draw nice smooth lines instead of very jagged ones. Now you alter your line thickness by going up and down in here, so you can make it as thin or as thick as you like. If it's not as thin as you like, you can go back into the library, properties, here we go. The maximum and minimum size under properties. Okay, so you can make the brush bigger or smaller if you want to. You can also duplicate it by swiping to the left. And then if you want to make a copy of the brush and alter the copy and leave the original as is, you can do that. Right, so I have my brush. Now what I want to do in this particular instance is to have a line which is a little ways offset from here, but one that follows the general shape. And so the way to do that is to come in. I'm going to show you in a large format, so so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to start off here, and I'm just going to go around. Okay, you can move. Oops. I normally do this sat down with my iPad on my lap. I'm not used to using it on the desk. Much harder for me anyway on the desk. You just draw around. Now normally if I was doing this I wouldn't blow it up to this size. I'm doing that so you can see what I'm doing. I wouldn't blow it up to that size because it's actually easier to do lines like this. A little bit exaggerated in size, but not very, because you've got more control. So if you want to, you can actually use the sort of edge line of the design itself. Now as you can see, I've got it right more or less around here, and then there it goes a little bit wrong. So I can go to the eraser, and I think I'm going to erase from that bit up the size of my eraser bit, so make it a bit quicker. And take that out. There we go. Go back to my pen, my brush, and do that. There we go. Now if I want to tidy it up, I can zoom in, I can go to the eraser, I can put the eraser down really small, and so I can take off any little bumps that I've created in my line, unlock this, there we go. I can merge it down so that it goes into the same layer. You don't have to do that, but I generally do. Then all I need to do is to print that. Now in my particular case, I have a Canon printer and it's a tank printer. I just got it, bought it a few days ago and I'm very happy so far. I should never have to buy ink cartridges again, yay. And I want to share that. I want to use a PDF, best quality. It gives me the page options, which I do not have if I just send it to print. So I go to next and it will tell me here what paper size I've got selected. As it happens, I've got 4x6 already selected, or 10x15 if you're working in metric. And I can just tap on there and it's going to send it to the printer and print it for me. And here's my print, hot from the press. Put that to one side. So now I've got this and I'm going to put it on my scan and cut mat. I am going to send it to my scan and cut and I'm going to do a direct cut. Now I agree, I've still got an outside line which is further away there than it is on that side. As I said, if I was doing this on my iPad, as I do normally, I would have got it a lot closer. But you get the general gist of the idea. Now if I cut it, if I tell it to cut it directly, it's going to cut on the outside of that black line. What I'm going to do is to put an interior offset on that so it cuts on the inside of the line. I'm just going to go for a 1mm offset and that will probably do the trick. So here's my cut reindeer, and as you can see the 1mm offset has completely obliterated the black line. I don't have it any longer. As I said, I do admit that I haven't got the line quite perhaps as close there as it should have been, but that's just a case of me not taking the care to do it and working in unfamiliar circumstances. I don't normally use my iPad flat on the desk. So that's the first part of my card, but of course I'm not going to leave it at that, am I? Now I'm still in scrap using mode, so I've got my card base, which is one of my thinner ones. Who's going to worry about that? I have another scrap of card, which is actually the thicker card that I have. I have a scrap piece of card or paper that I cut, and this I'm going to use as a bit of a mask. So I've got my Bahama Blue ink here, and I'm going to do some inking. I don't mind if this is blotchy because it might indicate that there are clouds around. So that is going to go on there. You can just take the chunkier end of the marker, the end that I rarely use, and just go around the edges. So it's not at all difficult. So that's going to add a bit of definition to it. For my wobbler, I have this wire which I purchased in Tiger. That's the one, Tiger. So I'm just going to take off a bit of this, and as it happens, it's already in a roll, which is approximately the right size. Pure coincidence, I assure you. Happens to be the thinnest wire I have. It may not be thin enough, but you get the idea. I'm going to bend part of this wire across the center of the circle. Going to put a piece of card on it, like so, and when it's lined up, I'm just going to bend it over like that. Taking some double-sided tape, I have it lined up still, put the double-sided tape over the top of that, and then put one of your blanks over that. And as you can see, you have half the wobbler. And then I need to fold that piece across the middle. Fold a piece up. Put it through there. Get it so that it's lined up. That's slightly too large a piece of tape, but not to worry. Take that, fold that little bit back over onto itself. That'll be fine. And put the other blank on. So you now have a little spring. Now you can twist it up a bit more to make sure that it's in position. So this can now go onto the back. Now, for some reason, this really sticks to my photo card. Not quite sure why, nothing else sticks to it, just the photo card does. And so you want to pick a spot on the back of here where it's going to be well hidden. That will do. It's sticking again. There's no glue on here, but the photo card just wants to stick to it. Oh, it's quite wobbly. It worked better than I thought it was going to with that wire. Now that I've got that bit done and I know exactly where he's going to be, I can put any odd elements on there that I feel like. Now I've got these leftover printing cuts that I did yesterday after I realigned my scanner, and so I can actually use some of these if I feel like it to put a little bit of extra decoration on here. I've also got some die cuts left over from something else, and so I might actually put some Christmas trees in. I'm going to have a play around with that and these bits and see what I want to put on there, and I'll come back and show you when I'm finished. I chose a very simple Merry Christmas. I've used a couple of the printing cuts that I had left over, and I've used some tree die cuts that I had left over from another project. And he does actually spring and wobble rather nicely, much better than I thought he was going to. Make a great card for an older child. You won't give them to a very young child because there is wire in here. They could take it apart and put it in their mouths. Not a good idea. But for an older child that's got past that stage, this would be a great Christmas card. Of course, it's not limited to Christmas. You can make your own wobblers for whatever occasion you so wish. And you just need to find a different kind of graphic to use. But the process is the same. Very, very simple indeed. Hope you've enjoyed this one, and I will see you again soon. Take care.